I won $5 million and told nobody. My family's reaction when they found out was shocking. 3 years ago I won $5 million in the lottery. But I didn't tell a single soul. Not my wife, not my kids, nobody. I kept going to work, driving my old car, living in the same house. And you know what I noticed? My brother, who always said, "Family comes first," stopped returning my calls. My sister, who I helped through college, she forgot my birthday. But here's the thing. Welcome, this is Voice of Deborah, and if you're joining us for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. I'm 62 years old now. The kind of age where you start counting what matters and letting go of what doesn't. But I need to tell you what happened because it changed everything I thought I knew about the people I loved. It was a Tuesday morning in March, 3 years back. I stopped at the gas station on Route 9, same one I'd been going to for 15 years. Bought a lottery ticket like I did maybe twice a month. Nothing special. Just numbers I picked because they meant something once. Birthdays, anniversaries, the address of the first house Mary and I rented when we got married. Saturday night, I checked the numbers on my phone while Mary was watching her cooking show. All 6 matched. I read them again. Then a third time. My hand started shaking so bad I had to put the phone down. $5 million. I didn't say anything. I just sat there on the couch, listening to Mary laugh at something on TV, and I felt this strange coldness move through my chest. Not excitement. Not joy. Just this quiet, heavy question. What do I do with this? I couldn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about my brother Carl and my sister Rita. About my 2 sons, Michael and James. About Mary's sister Linda, who'd been asking us for money every few months for the past 2 years. About our neighbor who always had some emergency that needed help. By morning, I'd made a decision. I wasn't going to tell anyone. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I just wanted to see something first. I went to the lottery office alone on a Wednesday. Took a half day off work. Told Mary the first had a dental appointment. They set me up with a financial advisor. Helped me claim it quietly. After taxes, it came to about $3.2 million. They put it in accounts I set up by myself. New bank. Different branch 2 towns over. Then I went back to my life. Same job at the hardware distribution center where I'd worked for 28 years. Same 2011 Toyota Camry with the dent in the back bumper. Same Friday night dinners with Mary at the diner on Pearl Street. But I started watching. Really watching. Carl used to call me every Sunday. We'd talk about football, about his kids, about nothing important. Good conversations. The kind brothers have. 2 months after I won, he called asking to borrow $8,000. His business was short on a payment, he said. Just for 30 days. I'd lent Carl money 4 times in the past 6 years. He'd paid me back twice. I told him I didn't have it right now, things were tight. He got quiet. Said he understood. That Sunday he didn't call. The next Sunday either. 3 months went by. I called him. He texted back, "Busy, talk later." Rita, my sister, stopped by in May. She needed help with her son's college tuition. 3rd semester, she said, and they were $2,000 short. I'd put her through college myself back in 1985, worked 2 jobs to do it. Paid for her wedding too. I told her we couldn't help right now. She left after 20 minutes. Didn't stay for coffee like she usually did. My birthday came in June. Rita always called, always sent a card. Nothing that year. I waited 3 days, then sent her a text. She replied, "Sorry, forgot. Happy belated." Michael, my oldest, he was 34. Good job, good wife, 2 little girls I loved more than breathing. He used to come over every other weekend, bring the kids, let them run around the yard while we grilled. After I told him we couldn't help with a down payment for a bigger house, he'd asked for $15,000. His visits got less frequent. Once a month. Then every 6 weeks. James was different. He was 31, still finding his way. He'd had some trouble with drinking a few years back but got himself straight. He called me every week, never asked for anything. Just talked. Wanted to know how I was doing, Told me about his girlfriend, about his job at the pharmacy. He was the only one who didn't change. Mary started noticing. "Why doesn't Carl call anymore?" she asked one Sunday. "Did you two fight?" "No fight," I said. "Just busy, I guess." "And Rita? She hasn't been by in months." I just shrugged. But inside something was hardening. A kind of clarity I'd never had before. A year passed. Then another. I kept working, kept living small. The money sat there growing a little with interest. I didn't touch it except to pay off our mortgage quietly. I told Mary my company gave me a bonus and I'd saved it. The relief on her face made me feel good. That was something real. But Carl never called. Rita sent a Christmas card with no note inside, just her signature. Michael came by on Thanksgiving and left after 2 hours. His wife barely spoke to us. Mary's sister Linda called in February of this year. She was crying. Her husband had lost his job. They were going to lose the house. Could we help? Just $10,000. I'd helped Linda before. Paid for her daughter's braces. Helped with car repairs twice. I told her no. We couldn't. She hung up without saying goodbye. 2 weeks later, Mary told me Linda wasn't speaking to her anymore. She cried that night in bed. She didn't understand what she'd done wrong. That's when I knew it was time. I called a family meeting. Told everyone it was important. Carl made an excuse at first, but I insisted. Rita said she was busy. I told her she needed to be there. They all came on a Saturday afternoon. Carl and his wife. Rita and her husband. Michael and his family. James came alone. Linda came with Mary's mother. They sat in our living room looking uncomfortable, like they'd rather be anywhere else. I stood up in front of all of them. Mary was next to me, confused. She had no idea what I was about to say. 3 years ago, I said, I won $5 million in the lottery. The room went completely silent. You could hear the clock ticking in the kitchen. Carl's face went white. Rita's mouth opened. Michael just stared. Linda looked like she'd been slapped. I didn't tell anyone, I continued. I wanted to see what would happen. I wanted to see who would still be here when I had nothing to give. Dad, Michael started. I held up my hand. Let me finish. Carl, you stopped calling when I couldn't lend you money. Rita, you forgot my birthday after I said no once. Michael, you barely come around anymore because we couldn't help with your house. Linda, you hung up on my wife, your own sister, because we couldn't bail you out again. Carl stood up. That's not fair. Sit down, I said. My voice wasn't loud, but something in it made him sit. James, you called every week. You never asked for $1. You just wanted to talk to your old man. Mary, you stayed next to me through everything, never complained, never knew we could have had more. Mary was looking at me with tears in her eyes. Not because of the money. Because of what I was saying. I'm not keeping the money from you to punish you, I said. I'm telling you this because you need to know what you did. How you treated us when you thought we had nothing. I reached into my pocket and pulled out envelopes. I'd prepared them the night before. James, you're getting $1 million. Because you loved me without conditions. Mary, this house is fully paid off, and there's money set aside for your retirement. You never have to worry again. James looked shocked. He started to say something, but his voice caught. The rest of you, I said, looking at each of them. You're getting nothing from this. Not because I hate you, but because you need to understand what family actually means. It's not a bank account. It's not a safety net you only remember when you're falling. It's showing up. It's calling. It's remembering a birthday. Rita was crying now. Carl was red in the face, angry. Michael looked at the floor. You can leave now, I said quietly. Or you can stay, and we can talk about how to fix this. But I'm not giving you money to make this easier. Carl left first. Didn't say a word, just walked out with his wife. Linda followed. Rita stayed in her chair, crying. Her husband put his hand on her shoulder. I'm sorry, Rita whispered. I'm so sorry. Michael looked up at me. Dad, I didn't realize. I know, I said. That's the problem. They stayed. We talked for 3 hours. It was hard. There were tears. There were things said that needed saying. But they stayed. That was 6 months ago. Carl still doesn't speak to me. I don't know if he ever will. Linda moved to Florida and Mary hasn't heard from her. But Rita calls now every week. We have coffee on Thursdays. She doesn't ask for anything. She just wants to see me. Michael brings the girls by every Saturday. He apologized a dozen times before I told him to stop apologizing and start showing up. He's showing up now. James used his money to buy a small house and asked me to help him fix it up. We spend Sunday afternoons working on it together, just talking while we paint and hammer. He's getting married next spring. He asked me to be his best man. Mary knows everything now. She was angry at first that I kept it from her. But she understood why. She told me she's proud of me. That means more than all of it. I still drive my Camry. Still go to the same diner on Fridays. The money is there, safe, making sure Mary and I will be okay for the rest of our lives. That James has a foundation. That we can help people who actually need it, not people who just want it. I'm not saying I did everything right. Maybe I should have told Mary from the start. Maybe I was too harsh. But I learned something about people in those 3 years. I learned that you find out who someone really is when they think you can't do anything for them anymore. Some people only love what you can give them. Real family loves you when you've got nothing left to give at all. That's my story. That's what happened. I'm telling you this on the voice of Deborah because maybe you're dealing with something similar. Maybe your family only calls when they need something. Maybe you're tired of being the one everyone leans on but nobody stands beside. If that's you, then listen. You're not obligated to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Family is precious, but it's a two-way street. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do is stop enabling people to treat you like an ATM and start requiring them to treat you like a human being. If this resonated with you, please hit that subscribe button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you don't owe anyone access to your life who won't show up for your heart. This is Voice of Deborah. Thank you for listening.